we've been lied to. Every single shape they taught us, I'm talking chords, scales, patterns, all of those, they were created by them to keep us locked. And I think there's a better way. Will you join me?
Hi, this is David Wallimann. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This channel is all about helping you express yourself on the guitar a little bit better. Really quick, if you're watching this video, it means you're not fully satisfied with this. I totally get it. And in my 30 plus years of teaching guitar professionally, I noticed that there's typically one thing that is holding students back. That's why I created a free quiz. It's in the description of this video. Just answer the few questions. I'll tell you what is holding you back and how to fix it for free. Let's get started. So as you know, the guitar neck is quite interesting. You can play the same exact pitch on different frets, different strings, which means that when you're looking at a scale, for example, over the full fretboard, you're gonna have some repeated notes. Makes it kind of difficult to commit to memory, right? And that's why you have learned some of these shapes that were found to be simple to play. Think of the pentatonic scale, for example. The minor pentatonic scale is a 5-note scale, and if I mapped it out on the fretboard in A, we would have these 5 notes repeated all over the fretboard. So to simplify things, we come up with slices of the fretboard, positions. This, for example, is that first position of the minor pentatonic scale. Way easier to memorize than the whole fretboard, right? It's simple, it has 2 notes per string, and it sounds good. Now we do have more than 5 notes here, but these notes are just repeated over and over within that zone of the fretboard. Now that pattern is great because it's really easy to memorize and it allows you to start making music really quickly without having to, memorize all the notes. The problem with not only that pattern that we talked about, but all the other shape-based things that you can do, think of chords, for example, you will memorize maybe the open chords, or maybe the bar chords, or maybe other positions. All of those things are kind of embedded in your fingers, and it's really easy to get stuck in those patterns. You're not really in control of your music. Your fingers are doing the thing that they have memorized. It's really hard to escape those patterns. And your music is very shape-based, and people can hear that. Now, those shape-based licks sound good. There's nothing wrong with them. You need some of that stuff. All that is kind of part of the vocabulary that a guitar player should have. But there comes a time when you feel really frustrated because you no longer feel that you're truly creating something. How do you fix that? Well, it has to start with the full fretboard. Let's start with something that we kind of know and we'll tweak from there. We'll take that first position of the minor pentatonic scale, the A minor pentatonic scale, and we're gonna do something a little weird, not very comfortable. That's what we wanna do. So maybe we can start that position the way that we typically start it. And then on the 3rd string, instead of playing frets 5 and 7, maybe we will play 5 and 9. We replace that 7 from the 9th fret. We can do that. Why? Because that's part of our full pentatonic scale. Same exact notes. There's only one little tweak. There's a little repetition of a note at some point with that new pattern. But if someone asks you to play either of those shapes with their eyes closed, they wouldn't necessarily guess which one it is unless they're a guitar player and they really pay attention. The thing we're trying to do is to reclaim control over our fingers. You get to rediscover, in a way, a shape that you've maybe played for decades and approach it like, a kid who has his first guitar and, man, that sounds good. What can I do with this? That's what we're gonna do. So it just starts with exploring the fretboard. let's make things a little bit more interesting. We're gonna change that A minor pentatonic scale to an A minor blues scale. Very, very close. The only difference is that we're adding a note between the 4th and the 5th. We're adding this in between note, the blue note, and that blue note can also be found right here. We can map that out all over the fretboard. Lots of notes to memorize. We're gonna narrow it down to the first position, the one we were using before, with that additional blue note, and we're gonna tweak that. So for that, we're gonna look at all the notes of the fretboard surrounding our single position. And just like we did before, we're gonna try to come up with a new pattern. Now there's a lot of different options, as you can see. We're gonna pick this one, for example. Little weird, but we're gonna see if we can make music with that. So again, it's a matter of exploring things and not being afraid of playing the things that are different. We're reclaiming control of our fingers. That's really the goal of the game. Doing is looking at the full mapped out scale from which all those typical patterns are born from, and we are taking control. We're building our own. We're seeing what options we have on the full fretboard. And it works for chords too. Right now I'm visualizing an E major scale all over the fretboard. I'm just playing some notes that I'm seeing highlighted as I'm looking at the full fretboard, instead of doing the typical, chords that we've all learned. Click right here to take the quiz I told you about in the beginning of this video. This will tell you exactly what is holding you back on the guitar. Answer the questions, be truthful, and I'll show you how to fix it. It's free. Thanks for watching.